2015 comes around, and this is like the weirdest thing that I truly believe sparked my issues. Welcome back, cookies. And if you're new here, my name is Carolyn. Hello, how are you? Welcome. And typically I do talk about more so fashion in my videos, but I do want to have some lifestyle, some wellness mixed into these conversations. I am an entrepreneur that lives in New York City, so I do like sharing those types of things as well. But today I am barefaced and in front of the camera to talk about my skincare journey. I feel like we're always done up in front of the camera, and you know, I've been hitting some pretty good progress with my skin in the last couple of months, and I wanted to share that with y'all in case, you know, you might relate, or it might be something that you want to take back to your dermatologist or esthetician to ask more about. So this is going to be a story time video. I will have some pictures to highlight and showcase products that I use, experience that I've had, which were kind of nightmarish, and my skin throughout the years. Now, overall, up until 2015, I never had skin issues. I was blessed. Both of my parents had acne at some point throughout their life, and throughout their life. Like my dad had acne through high school. He had adult acne. It wasn't as severe as an adult, but he had it, and my mom had a couple spells with it as well. So I thought I was coasting, clear, grateful, okay? Just wear my little bit of concealer and pink and red eyeshadows. That was all I was doing. Sorry, I'm still having a little bit of congestion, but I'm much better than last week. But anyway, so 2015 comes around, and this is like the weirdest thing that I truly believe sparked my issues. I was doing jury duty in downtown Brooklyn for 2 weeks, and someone had introduced me to drinking soy chai lattes, and I was drinking them bad boys every day. I would pick it up before jury duty, and I was drinking them every day for 2 weeks straight. And towards the end of jury duty, which I couldn't believe that I got souped up into that situation. Like, I was like, please, I think everyone is guilty. I don't believe in a judicial system, like all the things. Still had 2 weeks of service to do, and I would have to go to work every day afterwards from like 5 to 8 p.m. or something like that, right? So anyway, towards the end of jury duty service, I started to break out a little bit, and it was cystic. It was under my skin. It was painful. It wasn't coming to surface right away. I had never experienced that in my life. And also around this time, I was around, I think, the age 27. My skin was changing to oily T-zone. I always had normal to dry skin, and I was definitely experiencing like a whole flip in my skin situation. So, you know, obviously I was like, okay, something about this soy drink, maybe I shouldn't drink it anymore, and I stopped. But I still was having skin issues. So I do think, in hindsight, the soy activated my adult acne in the way that it was. So it was just so embedded in my skin. I went to a dermatologist, and right away they prescribed me spirulactone, an oral medication, and some type of benzoyl peroxide cream to apply at night. And right away it took care of the situation. It dried up my acne. I had no breakouts, but it dried my body up like really badly. And that was a difficult thing for me too. I didn't really want to go on medication. I'm not good with taking medication at all. I hate it. So as soon as I was done, I think it was 30 or 45 days of the medication prescription, I decided, okay, my skin seems to be turning around. I really think it was the soy situation. I'm not going to get a refill. Like, I don't want to do this. It's like altering my entire chemistry. And it worked for some time, and then it came right back around. And at that point I said, you know, I'm not going to keep going back on this prescription. Like, I'm going to figure out a clean way of handling this, right? So I was trying different products. It was working somewhat as far as like using products that would cause me to have less inflammation from my acne, right? Or things, you know, little pimple dry, I forget what it's called. I'll put Mario Badeschi, He has like a drying lotion that I would apply, things like that. But overall, I just realized, this is now my life. Like, I am an adult with acne. It comes up really badly around my cycle, and overall it's just a consistent thing, dealing with that and super bad hyperpigmentation, the scars that they leave behind, whether or not I would pop them. Even if I left my acne alone, it would still leave a scar once it decided to dry up or go somewhere else on my face. And it was always in this area. I'll do a little bit of a close-up here. So I always had really bad acne in this zone and in this zone. And what's crazy is this side of my face, I don't talk on the phone. I don't sleep on that side of my face. There's not a lot of activity outside that I do on this side of my face. Everything's on this side, and this one is the area that is less affected with acne through all these years. So this has always been my problem side. So anyway, just dealing with the ebbs and flows of having this situation and just trying to figure out, and clean makeup and products on the rise. I would take about 45 to 60 days with different products to see if it would help me, if it would turn around. Sometimes it would blow up in my face immediately, and sometimes it would work for a little bit of time, and then it just wouldn't do it anymore. So, I started getting medical facials. Those would help with the severity of the breakouts, but it was expensive. And then the pandemic hit, and I couldn't go to them, and I couldn't figure out what to do with it. My skin under so much stress that we were all under during this time. I think everybody was dealing with the stress of not knowing what was really going on and just wanting to stay safe, and so much death around us that the acne got really bad during lockdown, like to the point where I wouldn't even want to look at my face, and I tried to learn more about makeup application. So when I did have to do lives, or if I had to do anything where I was seeing people at all for whatever reason, because we're on lockdown, I taught myself how I would like my makeup to look and be applied, and that took a lot of trial and error. And that's also kind of how I came across my relationship with Jones Road Beauty. I had found, minimal style makeup that was clean, and it was created by Bobbi Brown, who, a lot of women that are a little bit older than me, their first makeup was Mary Kay or Avon, right? From my community, or like Fashion Fair. But I feel like my generation, our first makeup was either Bobbi Brown or MAC makeup. So the fact that Bobbi made Jones Road Beauty, I was really intrigued, because I was like, she's always had that in-between color foundation and concealer that I used all the time, especially in college, because I didn't wear makeup really in high school. I wasn't really allowed. So anyway, I found their makeup, I saw their face pencils, and immediately, like, I posted on Instagram just to share with my friends. This time, I don't think I had more than like maybe 1,500 followers at this point. So they saw the post, Jones Road, they sent me some gifts, and that turned into Bobbi Brown calling me on my phone on a Sunday. I will never forget, it was a lunchtime, because we were out to lunch with Carlos's niece and her boyfriend. And literally, she told me that she wanted to work with me. And I was like, wow, like, that's so crazy. I'm so insecure about my skin at this point that a makeup artist of this caliber, this legendary makeup artist, Bobbi Brown, and business owner, right, is asking me to create content around her product. Of course I said yes, but I was so scared because of my skin and how it acts up all the time, but I dove right in. So it definitely helped me, that relationship that is still continuing. We're still in partnership. We still work together. I still make content for them, but that's what kind of helped me realize that my skin issues with acne and hyperpigmentation didn't take away from who I was, But anyway, the acne was persisting. It was getting really out of hand at some points. I was in the house like, God dang, like, look at my skin. This shit look crazy, like swollen from my acne, right? And, once we started to come out of the situation of lockdown, my skin started to calm down a little bit, but a funny thing happened. As we were coming out of lockdown, I found that I was always having stomach issues. Gut health and overall health is all connected and very important to put at the forefront of a lot of like health issues, right? Look at the gut. And every day, you know, this might be a little bit TMI, I was having issues leaving my home at certain points of the day. Like, I would have to wake up at a certain time to make sure that I would extract, you know, take care of everything, but I would never have healthy deposits, as you will. Like, it was not looking like it was supposed to look. You know, there's healthy, there's a variation of poop, and there's a healthy amount looking type of poop, and then there's like poop that's like, your stomach all right? Or do you have IBS? Did you eat something bad? Like, you know, and I was always on the end of something's wrong. And it was painful too. So, you know, I was trying to just figure out what foods weren't really working for me. And I was like, you know, sometimes when I eat gluten-based products, I think I have reaction. This is weird, but like I can't figure it out. Like I was eating some like junk food for sure, but then overall I was eating like a lot of greens, a lot of salads, a lot of protein. So, you know, I'm pretty healthy, but like I do snack really badly. So last year, I go to my doctor, do my regular, you know, visit, and I was like, can you do me a favor and do a gluten test for me? Like, can you run an allergy panel real quick? She was like, yeah, sure. 2 days later, she says, you are not allergic to gluten, but you have some severe food allergies that you need to stop eating. And I'm like, oh, hell, what is it? I look at the panel, highly allergic to corn. No more cornbread for me, y'all. No more. Soy, okay, all right, we knew about that basically. Wheat, sesame, walnuts, peanuts, which so cornbread and peanuts, I was like, ain't no way I'm allergic to it. And if I was allergic to it, like, it has nothing to do with my stomach. Like, how am I allergic to it? So I tested the waters a few times with those two things. And when I tell you, I had a payday one night because I was really craving it. I love peanut butter, peanut-based anything. Had the payday, and I was immediately in that bathroom praying, asking God, just this one time, help me out type of prayer. Y'all know the prayer. We all have had the prayer on that toilet, okay? Another time, I had a slither of cornbread that my father made. And I was back home in Baltimore. Had that little piece of cornbread. The next day I woke up and I kept having the urge. I said, okay, this is definitely a serious allergy for me. And this is exactly what I've been feeling throughout all these years. I had to push back my departure train to come back to New York. That's how bad it was. So after I fully like accepted the fact that these are the allergies that I have, I started to have less and less breakouts, like less. If I get one, it might be in this area, and this area of the face is connected to hormones and whatnot, right? These areas is for the stomach, and there's so many other areas that can tell you what's going on within your body as far as like what shows up on your skin. And I said, wow, you know, I saw a gastro doctor years ago. And he said, well, a month ago, this was before the pandemic. He said, well, a month ago you were in Mexico. Maybe you're fighting a bug. He never ran a panel. He never ran an allergy test for me. My dermatologist, first thing that they do, gave me a prescription. Never ran an allergy test. And it really irks me because I had suffered so many things, between my face feeling inflamed from cystic acne to my stomach always feeling upset. And I still have like my moments, you know, I'm going to start taking probiotics from seed. Let's see how that goes. I'll get back to you on that. But I felt like all these doctors, right, I would come across, and no hate to doctors, but I honestly feel like there was not enough due diligence to figure out exactly what was going on with me. They would take it for face value, give a prescription, or give their own opinion on what it could be, instead of doing some deep, heavy dive into what it actually is. And this is a gripe that a lot of women of color have to deal with. And I'm sorry, I don't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable that are not of color, right? But this is a reality. When it comes to childbirth, gynecology, any type of medical level that we have to go and do our things with, right? Do our yearlies, do our pap smears, all of our things. I am very sensitive about what doctors I use. You know, I have a gynecologist, Dr. Emily Blanton. She does thorough assessments and work when it comes to gynecology for me. My primary doctor, she also, but at the end of the day, I did have to ask for that allergy panel, right? We have to go above and beyond to ensure that our doctors take care of us. And sometimes women of color, what's it called? Doctors of color do not do their due diligence either. So it's like, we have to do extra work to ensure all questions are answered and that all steps are taken, and I really resent the fact that none of the doctors that I came across in my skin journey and my stomach journey never once ran a panel for me to see what the hell was going on. And I also feel like, as we get older, we develop all these allergies. Now I'm going on a rant, but it is true. And I think it's important to get allergy tested throughout the year. So, with me taking a step back and cold stopping eating all my favorite foods like popcorn and cornbread and peanut. I would put peanut butter in all my smoothies. And yes, almond butter hits the same. It's fine. But like peanut is just a thing that me and my family really honestly, like we would go to the beach and eat boiled peanuts out of the can straight like that. Peanuts is a thing. And, Thai food has a lot of peanuts. All my favorite things has peanut in it. And I love all things corn as well. So it just sucks, But now that I know, my skin has had less breakouts. And what's been happening is now I'm dealing with all the spots, all the dark marks. And I have another crazy story to share when it comes to these marks on my face. So last year, in the midst of me trying to figure out exactly what was causing so much cystic acne issues, right, I found a Black-owned esthetician in Brooklyn. And she had done amazing work with other women of color and their acne issues and bringing their whole face back to life, like truly. And I still believe to this day that the owner of that business, she is a magician when it comes to the skin and acne and many other things too, right? So anyway, go to her for my first appointment, get a chemical peel. Everything's looking lovely. I'm like, yes, okay, I finally feel like I'm on the road to recovery. These spots are about to be gone. Like this is going to be my person every month to get my skin done, right? The second appointment, something happens. She does not show, she lets another, I guess her apprentice or, someone who knows how to do everything she does the same. She did my appointment. This woman had a really weird energy about her. She was quiet. I was like, maybe she's just having a rough morning. Maybe my appointment was, spare the moment for her, like last minute type of thing, whatever. Because I wasn't expecting anyone else except for the owner to do my appointment. So she's going in on the extractions, and that happened, the first time, like the extractions were a little painful, like, cystic acne is a little deep, so you gotta work a little harder, put a little bit more elbow grease into it. And that's what I thought it was, but she was really putting her whole elbow, shoulder, back, and leg into extracting these pimples, right? And I'm like, damn, like, I didn't know my skin was this difficult. Like, all right, like, to the point where, like, her hands were shaking when she was doing these extractions. And, upon leaving the appointment, even the receptionist was just not really that welcoming. I was like, damn, everybody having a bad day when I'm here. Shit. Like, all right. So I leave, and I remember making like an Instagram story about this where like my face was so inflamed. My face felt really tight, like so much, like it took so much energy for me to go to this, to experience this appointment. And then the customer service at the end just wasn't like helpful. So I remember talking about my experience, and I didn't say, and I'm not going to say the spa's name, right? But I told the owner the next day, I was like, yo, I don't think my appointment went the way that it should have. Like something feels really off. I told her about what happened. She said, no, I assure you, like these scars that are going to come up with the peel, it's going to peel off. Like everything's going to be fine. Like, sometimes you have to do some heavy duty extractions and it's just going to peel off with the peel. I was like, okay, I'm trusting it. But as the days are going on, my skin is getting tighter because, when you peel, it tightens up and then it falls off, right? And around the scars, it's like really restricting. And I'm like, I do not have a good feeling about this. The peel finally comes all off, and there are more scars than what I went there with. And I am not pissed or livid. I am disappointed and heartbroken because I was like, I literally was on my way to having healthy, clear skin, you know, that I can manage, that I can feel confident in again. And this shit took me 10 steps back or more. I was so upset, and I sent the pictures and everything to this woman. The owner said, I have to fix this. Let me please. Like, she did laser. She did everything she needed to do. I think I went back once or twice, I can't remember, but she did it for free. And come to find out, I found out that the person that did the second appointment had an issue with the owner and took it out on my face, basically. Like, why me though? Why me? I just wanted, it sucked. It sucked so bad, right? And people was just like, oh, you should have sued, you should have sued. Honestly, the owner of that business had so much other stuff to deal with when it came to that person that, and I don't have no money to sue nobody, first of all, and I don't want to sue the person because it's a mutual friend situation too. I know this person through another person that's really close to me. I'm not doing that, you know. The fact that she had to handle that person and get rid of that person and the whole fiasco that happened with that, that's enough. I don't need nothing else. As far as I'm concerned, I don't go there anymore, mostly because of the location is out of the way for me. But I felt like, okay, I think I got my skin under control right now, right? And I do get facials still every other month and whatnot, but I literally feel that the first step that really started to heal this entire process is doing an allergy panel. And I'll take you in the bathroom now, but there are some skin products that I swear by that have taken my skin up a notch even more. Let's go to the bathroom. Okay, so I wanted to bring you in here. Don't love the lighting, but it is what it is. I wanted to show you some things that I've been using that have been really helpful. My bathtub just be dripping and dropping all day. I can't stand it. I can't. We gotta ask them to come in and close it up. But anyway, so first and foremost, some other things that I started using during lockdown come from You to the People and Pharmacy. So Pharmacy, I use their, what's it called? Their Green Clean. This is used for makeup removal, and when I tell you it gets the most like toughest red lips off completely, it does. Then I always wash my face with You to the People kale and spinach, kale and green tea spinach vitamin superfood cleanser. It's not harsh on my skin. It doesn't make me feel stripped of any way, and it does clean really effectively. Recently, I started to triple cleanse, which I know some people are like, wait, what? Double cleanse is a lot as it is. We're triple cleansing now. And it, to me, I think it just honestly depends on the day, right? If I'm wearing a lot of makeup, I'm going to triple cleanse. I'll do with the Green Clean, and then I'll go in with a micellar cleansing water and a pad, get that layer off, and then I go in with the cleanser. Some nights also, because this is something that is acne fighting as well. This is from Epilogic, the Clean Reveal Cleanser. I'll do instead of the kale, right? And these are just things that I'm using to help balance pH levels, to help really take all the toxins from the day, all the makeup, all the grime and grit out of my skin. And depending if I'm having a breakout, I'll do my cleanse, my Green Clean, my You to the People cleanser. I'll dry off and I'll wash with just where I'm having the acne issues. I will wash with this. This is a 5% benzoyl peroxide cleanser. This is an acne solution from the Inky list. And literally, you know, my face is a little damp. I put it on the spots that I'm having trouble with. I massage it in for 1 whole minute, and like a real minute. When I say a minute, I put a timer on. And then I wipe it off. And I don't do any extra cleansing after that. And then I put on my serums, right? So when it comes to cleansing, let's just review real quick. Pharmacy Green Clean Makeup Remover. Youth to the People, the Kale and Green Tea Spinach Cleanser. I also use Epilogic Clean Reveal that has blue tansy in it, acne fighting. These are clean products. I use the micellar water from Garnier just to make sure everything is magnetized out of the skin. to just ensure like there's nothing else really being left behind. And then I cleanse again. And then when I'm having a breakout, I go in with the Inky List for 1 full minute on those spots that are affected, and then I'm good to go. So depending on the day, depending on the night, I feel like, you know, it's not one clear routine, because there's some days I don't wear makeup. There's some days that I do a lot of makeup or sweat heavy, or there are some days where I'm doing retinol and not, you know what I mean? So it just depends. But let me try to do this. For daytime, I always put on Master Plan by Epilogic. This helps me with, you know, keeping breakouts at bay. Number one. Number two, texture. It smooths me out. It lifts and it brightens. This Master Plan, it's a bit pricier than, you know, some of the other products I have here, but it's worth it. I tried this for 45 days. Everyone started complimenting me on my skin like never before. And when I ran out of it, I waited like another 45 days just to see what my skin would do. It did revert back. I'm going to be using this for the rest of my life. Okay. And then I put on like an eye cream or whatever. I'm still testing eye creams that I love. I've been using Shiseido for a while. I'm not totally in love with it, but I'm going to try Epilogics pretty soon. And then I go in after I put on that serum, and I put like a little spritz. This is a rose spritz from a Budapest-based company. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I'll put it in the description box there. But I spray a little of this on just to make sure my skin is still damp and that it's receiving and sucking in all the moisture. And then I go in with a total package moisturizer from Epilogic as well. And then I go in and do that. I never leave the house without some type of SPF. Y'all heard me talk about this before. Supergoop leaves no white cast. This is for every single face. For me, I feel like I like it because it's not oil based. I'm already oily. I don't need extra on top of all that. And with those few products on top of each other, I feel like my makeup lays really well. Sometimes if I'm going out at night and I know I'm going to be doing like a full makeup look, I'll actually go in with my night lotion, my night moisturizer, which is Weleda Skin Food. So I use this when I really want like a full glamorous night look and I'm going to put on all the makeup. She does really well in place of total package when I'm doing like my makeup and stuff or something like that at nighttime. So Weleda Skin Food is my nighttime cream that I use sometimes for makeup. Now at nighttime, I will, and sometimes, like I said, depending on the day, I do use the Even Balance. This is like a toner from Epilogic. I'll probably use it every other day. After I put Master Plan on, I'll put that on, right? And at nighttime, you know, sometimes if I'm feeling like I'm getting a little bit too much texture, or I just had a breakout and it's healed up and I want to get that dead skin off and I just want to use a little bit more force, Dermalogica. Now this is like an oatmeal, like you could see the dust on there. But you pour it into your hand, dry hand, your face is damp, and it helps to exfoliate really well the dead skin that you want to remove, right? But one of the holy grails, I have 2 holy nighttime grails that I've been using. Pharmacy came out with Brighten Up with 3% TXA. This is a dark spot toner with alicylic acid and PHA. This is a lotion tonic, and when I tell you, typically it takes about 6 months for scars like this to leave my face or lighten up, right? This is a result of using Pharmacy Brighten Up, and it has taken less time for my scars to lighten up than it has in years. Now I've used brands, the Milk Marble from Edem is really great. It is really great, especially, you know, I would use it on maybe some of these marks that aren't so bad, but the really tough spots, and they just came out with this. I've been using this for over a month and I am like stunned at how much this has lifted these marks in the last few weeks. This is a holy grail. Another holy grail that I introduced into my regimen, I actually got this as a gift when they did debut this product, Epilogic. I love Epilogic overall. I mean, it's Black owned. She gets it. She's a doctor. She already sees skin. She knows what we need. She sees what's going on. I just feel like it's a great marriage. But Epilogic double feature. This is a retinol. So every 2 nights, or like, is it every night? There's 2 nights I do this in a row, and then I back off. And then 2 nights go by, and then 2 nights again. So every 2 nights, I'm switching on and off from this retinol. And my skin, like, I just feel like the fine lines, it's brighter, it's picked up a lot more. I feel very youthful. Like, I'm looking at my skin here and I am a little insecure, right? It's like, oh my God, you guys are seeing all the marks, all the spots. But in comparison to what I've been through, this is a very big, like, difference, okay? And some other things that I use for nighttime, I do use still the Estee Lauder Advanced Night Repair eye cream, or it's like a gel. I put a little bit of like an eye oil first, then I put this, because I kind of feel that this doesn't moisturize completely. I feel like it brightens up my eye, but it doesn't feel moisturized in the morning. So I put the oil on first, and then I do this. And then I always either use Aquaphor on my lips, or I do a Laneige lip cream or lip mask. And you know, I didn't want to really show this at first because this isn't something that we can get easily, but this is a chocolate scented and brown colored Laneige. So it's not readily available, but this is the one that I use if I'm not in the mood to use Aquaphor, which is the one that I use the most. But overall, you know, these are the things that I've been using. If I want to do a little bit of a lift with gua sha, I do use Vintner's Daughter, the Active Botanical Serum, because it's oil. It gives me a good slick. It has all plant-based ingredients. It's super clean. I love this stuff. And another one that I've been using more recently, I'm trying, and I do think I actually really like this. This was gifted to me by Murray Lelou. This is a cannabis-based company. They're a skincare cannabis-based company. This is the indica oil. So I use this at night just to kind of lock in everything that I did, even with the retinol. If I'm sculpting, I use this. It's more like a dry oil too. But overall, these are the products that I've been using that I feel are the perfect combination to keep my skin hydrated, to, you know, be mindful of the spots, to bring brightening, to even out the texture, to keep acne breakouts at bay. And even when I had them, they're very short-lived. I think I just had this breakout the other day and I dried it out. It was ready to pop. It's not really cystic anymore. It's a lot more surface level, which thank God, because it's just easier to deal with. I did extract it and immediately put on the things to heal it, you know. Let me see, is this it? No. I was gonna look for something that I used, but now I can't find it. But I'll put it in the description box. This is basically a treatment that I put on after I pop a pimple. But at the end of the day, I think, you know, the biggest takeaways was I feel I should have looked into allergy first. You know, I wish I was working with doctors that wanted to do a little bit more research on what my body was doing and seeing what it reacts to in a negative way. You know, that's number one. So if you're having issues with your skin, gut health, number one. Number two, get an allergy panel tested, because as we grow older, things change within our bodies. It's not just our hips get wider or smaller, or things start happening. We start growing hair in places we didn't always have. We start getting acne, all different types of things. And we do develop allergies. That's just the truth. So getting an allergy panel is important. And using products that work well together and not fight against each other, and doing due diligence as far as the ingredients to make sure that nothing's going to work against each other or pill on your skin. That took me a while. And at the end of the day, I'm not a dermatologist. I'm not an esthetician. I'm not a specialist. I've been through some hella crazy experiences with my skin though. And I've tried a lot of different variations that backfired or worked for me. So all I would say is the products that I shared, I would do due diligence to research them, make sure that they have ingredients that are working for you. and what you have going on, and also taking them back to your esthetician or your dermatologist. When I went to that esthetician last year, I took all my products with me. I said, these are the things that I use. Can you please review them for me? She went through and she said, actually, these are all really great. There's a few things I need to know the ingredients for, send them to me. She reviewed them and it confirmed like I was working with things that were working well harmoniously together. So those are the things. And at the end of the day, I'm feeling more and more comfortable to go outside with bare skin. My goal is to be able to wear tinted moisturizer, SPF, and feel confident with an eyebrow and a red lip. Like, I just want to wear my skin as is, and I just want to wear my eyebrows how I do them and a powerful red lip, and that's the look that I want to have going forward. And that is my journey that I'm still on, and I don't think I'm too far off. And I'm going to be careful with any person that touches my skin going forward. What's it called? Joanna Check. It's a little pricey, but very worth it. I loved my facial when I went there. Child, boo. That was luxury. Okay, it's luxury. Get into it. But yeah, that's what I just want to talk to y'all about today. Skincare, acne journey, because I feel like a lot of people experience it in different ways, and not enough conversations are being had about how we feel, what we did to figure some things out, and what's working. Or I just haven't seen it in a long time, right? But I hope y'all enjoyed today's video. Please comment below. Let me know your thoughts. What are some things that you're dealing with? What are products that work for you? Like, let's all just chat below and figure this out. And I'll put everything in the description box as far as the products, Joanna Check's information, and some other estheticians that I think are amazing too. And yeah, that's it. All right, y'all. Bye.